Hello everyone. This is Cosmic Cassie. This is supposed to be a general message for like the daily vibe check-in. But as I was shuffling the cards and pulling out the ones I wanted to use, kind of felt more guided to do this instead. So this is going to end up being a pick a card. But instead of cards, we're using candles. So it's going to be pick a color. So we have red, orange, and pink. So I'm going to pull the same cards for each candle, but each one is going to have a different message inside of it. So take the time right now to kind of look at each of these three colors, red, orange, pink, and kind of look at them and decide which color you're feeling more drawn to, so that way you know which message to look at. Obviously, feel free to, if you're really drawn to two colors or all three, you can listen to all of the messages, but the way that I kind of was feeling just more guided to do this as I was like preparing to do the daily vibe message. So go ahead and make your choice now, and we'll start off with the red, and then we'll go orange, and then we'll go pink. The timestamps are going to be down below in the comments. I'll make sure I pin it as the first comment, so that way you guys know where each one starts. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull them and get started here. Okay? So let's go ahead and start off with the red candle. I'll put it here just so we all remember that it's red. The first one that I'm going to pull here, so that's at what, 155. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be pulling is actually these are dark shadow cards, and so these are a card deck that I got from a personal buyer, and these cards are meant to outline what shadow is affecting you, like what part of your shadow is showing up right now, or needs to be worked through, or needs attention, things like this. So we'll pull a couple of these cards and start off with them, and then kind of like move as we need to move, okay? So this is for the red pile here. Show me, what do red need to know? What does red need to know? Thank you. I keep hearing, I wanted to only pull two, but I keep hearing three, so we'll pull three. Ideally, this is going to come down to one single shadow, like one single idea, and not three, but we'll see how that plays out. Okay? So first one here is boundaries. Develop healthy boundaries to make sure you are emotionally and mentally stable. It's okay to say no. Second one is demanding. When displayed, you are most likely making the other person feel inferior. Check your anxiety and depression. And the last one is greed. You are too attached to things in an excessive way. Nothing good comes out of it. And so I feel like this is why they wanted me to pull three here, because when I'm looking at all three of these and saying them out loud and stringing them together, this feels like red pile. Either you're dealing with someone that's like this, or this is you, however it resonates. But this feels like someone has a really difficult time with their boundaries, and it's like when they, over time, as their boundaries continuously are crossed, they begin to like try to recover those boundaries being crossed by getting more picky and demanding and nagging, like showing up in an energy because they felt inferior, because their boundary was getting crossed and they weren't saying anything about it. They weren't putting in healthy boundaries here. And so once that kind of over time triggers them and begins to weigh on them, then it's like they suddenly shift their energy into becoming like this very demanding and like overbearing, kind of like my way or the highway kind of energy. But I feel like the reason why that triggers them to react in that way is because they start to feel like they're not getting enough, like they're not getting reciprocation with their boundaries. That's where that greed energy comes in, because it's like Yes, it's good to have strong, solid boundaries, but when you're the one allowing someone to continuously cross those boundaries and you're not saying anything, you're not, communicating anything or putting up stronger, healthy boundaries, it's like this person almost gets into this place of lack where they feel like they're having everything taken. And so now they're showing up where it's like, well, now I'm going to take everything because, you took everything from me. So it's almost like they're triggered not because they don't have strong boundaries, but it's almost like they get into this place of selflessness, but then they switch and get into a place of, trying to become the taker and not take advantage, but, it's like their approach is very wrong, but it's like they want to be selfless. They're okay with being selfless. They're okay with, not having a solid boundary with that. But over time, because they're not communicating how they feel, instead of remaining in an energy of selflessness and love, once they feel taken advantage of, it's like they move more into this energy of like no reciprocation, very, very stubborn, very firm, my way, highway kind of energy here. And it's triggered because they feel like they're not getting anything. So I don't necessarily feel like this is someone who, it's bad that they're selfless, but it just feels like they're not communicating boundaries around their selflessness or boundaries around reciprocation. So then they feel like they need more out of the situation, and they come in with an energy of almost like, well, I'm going to take it if they're not going to give it. Okay. And then I wanted to look at the good things. Okay. So that's the shadow aspect there for reds. Let's see, these are starseed messages. So you don't have to be a starseed, but these are more higher perspective messages on enlightenment, on moving forward. And I'm hearing I need to pull 4 of these. These are short messages as well. So what does red need to know? What does red need to know? What do reds need to know? Starseed messages, what does red need to know? I don't know why I'm hearing Pocahontas, like the story of Pocahontas is what would explain this person's shadow side for some reason. They might like the story of Pocahontas, they might like Pocahontas or look like Pocahontas, something like that. It's funny, exactly 4 of these fell out, so look at that. We have intuition. That's your intuition. It has been guiding you, or trust your intuition. It has been guiding you to the answers that you seek. And then we have transcendence. Transcend your mind's limitations and allow your soul's light to shine, truly shine. And then we have channel. You are a channel through which healing energy reaches the world. And last is meditation. Take a moment to connect to source through quiet, reflective meditation. And so I feel like this is someone who definitely is meant to be or show up some way in like a light worker energy here with the intuition as well as with the transcendence and channeling. It's like this is the indigo child, rainbow child, a light worker, even someone who has a spiritual practice. They show up in that way professionally. They help others. And it's almost like this is the energy. This is why it's like the counter energy, because it's almost saying here, this is how you're meant to show up. But because you don't know how to almost like communicate effectively when you're showing up in this way that you're meant to show up, where it is a lot of selflessness and your intuition guides you to help people. It guides you to, give freely or to love someone who's unlovable, to help someone who, is stubborn, to do these things, do these good, positive, loving acts of good towards other people. You're guided to do that. And it's like when you're guided to do that, you're able to really like transcend other people's. I feel like this is more of their energy. You're able to transcend their limitations because you coming in and helping people that most people maybe wouldn't help or wouldn't deal with. I feel like you're able to overcome a lot of limitations when it comes to working with people that others would deem as like, uncoachable or, not a team player, or really stifled in their energy. Like most people would avoid this person, but you come in and you're like, nope, I'm going to break through that barrier, that shell, and I'm going to help them. And it's like the way that you do that for them allows them to break out of that energy that makes everyone else run from them. It allows them to see their own self in a different way. It allows them to break down their own limitations that they have in their own minds here. So you're transcending their negative energy for them by working with them in a very intuitive and selfless kind of way here. And I feel the way that you're working with these people is definitely receiving channeled messages, or even when you're working with them, it's almost like you channel while you work with this person, whatever capacity that is. So if you're talking to them, you are channeling through messages that they need to hear, that's going to help them break up that stiffness, that difficulty, that limitation, that grief, that frustration. It's like you know how to talk to this person or these people to really help them break out of their own limitations, their own stoppages, their own, hard shell and barriers, things like this. If you work with them and you guys draw something, or you're helping them figure out how to look at art in a different way. It's like whatever capacity you work with them, it's like you're able to channel energy in while you work with this person that really assists you with transcending their negative energy so that they can come out of this blocked energy. They can, change themselves without you trying to change them. And it's all through how you work with them, how you interact with them, how selfless you are with them. And then with the meditation, it's almost like this is where some of you may not meditate as much as you need to, or whoever resonates with this red, or someone in this red, that meditation is how you get realigned with spirit, with source. So after you've worked with someone, even it doesn't mean until they've healed. It's like, no, any interaction where you're coming in and you're being selfless and you're moving through and transcending energy, that requires a lot of energy to do that for someone else or with someone else. And so it's almost like you need to be able to come back to a space of oneness. You need to be able to center your energy back into yourself when you're done interacting with people in this way, in order to stay aligned with this energy, in order to keep doing this. Some of you may not be meditating, some of you may, but it's like this is how it ends, is with meditation, because that's when you need to come back and almost continue healing and loving and working on yourself with spirit directly, in order to be able to show up in other people's lives in this way. So when you're showing up in that way and you're doing this kind of work, whether it's consciously or not, what happens, I believe, with the shadow side of this with the red, is as we're being selfless and as we're offering transcendence and we're working with difficult people that other people might not necessarily want to work with, we're showing up in a very different capacity to be able to work with difficult energies and transcend those energies and help them. That can weigh on you. And a lot of times when you work with difficult energies like that, you have to show them and teach them how to have reciprocation, how to have balanced, equal giving and taking, how to allow those energies to kind of be healthy. A lot of times you're interacting with energy that is not healthy. It would not be considered healthy, and that's why other people kind of shy away from working with people like this. But it's like when you're working with them, if you don't come back to this place of meditation, this place of self-love, of purpose, of what you're doing, like why you're doing what you're doing, it's almost like you get into an energy of helping, not getting anything in return, and then all of a sudden you feel very slighted by that. And it's like, this is your purpose. This is your ability, purpose by choice, but ability not by choice. Your ability allows you to do this. And so if you're not taking care of you, if you're not reconnecting with source, if you're not remembering your purpose and, re-energizing yourself and connecting to that oneness and that heart space, you're going to feel like you're being taken advantage of. So then you react adversely, you react negatively, and then it's almost like it spirals everyone in the situation backwards, not forwards. And it's because you begin to feel like you're in lack energy. I'm being taken advantage of. I'm not getting enough money for this. I'm not getting anything back for this. They're not doing what I do for them. They're not paying me as much as they're paying everyone else. I don't get as much thanks and gratitude as I should. It's like when you get into that energy of like feeling taken advantage of, feeling like you're not getting what you're meant to get out of it. That's that greed energy, and then you show up in a way of like no longer helping, but now almost adversely affecting the situation by showing up in a way of like I'm going to take what I deserve, or I'm not going to help at all. And it's like your true energy, the essence of your energy and your ability and how you show up is a beautiful thing, as long as you remember why you're doing it, as long as you remain fulfilled with what you're doing, because the return here is the inner fulfillment. It shouldn't be the external things. It shouldn't be the thank yous. It shouldn't be the money. It shouldn't be, am I getting back everything I'm putting back into this? Because this is more spiritual fulfillment. This is more feeling like you're walking in your purpose, understanding the kind of people that you're working with, so not requiring that you get like all these riches and fame and all this attention and recognition. It's like if you're walking in your purpose truly, the shadow shouldn't appear if you understand that you are walking in purpose and why this feels good and it's purposeful. So it's not to say the shadow energy never fully goes away. I think this is more having an awareness that when you do get into this shadow energy, this is the reason why you're getting into it, and it comes down to because you're not realigning with spirit. You're not saving a space for yourself. You're not. You're coming out of the heart space and more into like the mental space. It's like when you do that, you're kind of stepping out of your purpose, and then you start to forget why you're doing what you're doing, and you're not looking for the fulfillment of it anymore. You're looking for everything else around it. Okay, so it's more of an awareness, because you can't totally destroy the shadow, same way you can't destroy the ego. But the more aware that you are of when you go into shadow, or why you go into shadow, the more that you can work with it, the more it becomes more integrated in a healthy way rather than in a negative way here. Okay, because sometimes you do have to make boundaries. Sometimes, especially if you're working with difficult people, you have to understand when they're taking advantage of this. Rather than you healing them, you're actually allowing them to continue this behavior. And sometimes you have to step into that shadow energy to cut unhealthy situations off, because sometimes it's not your job to work with that person until they're healed. It might be, the first part of the healing is you, but then you have to, create that boundary and stop working with them because they have other experiences they have to go through to heal. And you're not the full experience of healing, you're just a part of it. And so then you need to know when to walk away and how to be able to do that. But it's more of an awareness again. Okay, so let's pull last thing I want to do some tarot here. This is Modern Witch Tarot. So let's see what messages we need for reds. What messages do reds need at this time? What messages do we have for reds at this time? What message do we have for reds? Okay, we had like 5 cards fall out there. I'm actually going to read, because I don't know what order these came out in, and for me, order is a big thing, so I'm going to re-pull these actually. I like that they flipped out. I don't like that they all flipped out and scattered on the floor. Okay, hold on. I'm actually going to pull these second, because I kept hearing it, and I was like, oh no, we'll pull them last. But it's like, no, I kept hearing I need to pull these first and then clarify with the tarot. So this is, this tarot deck is called The Journey, and these are more oracle cards, but they have a single word, and there's like a book with a meaning, but these are really fun ones, because they really do have significant meaning. I would say for anyone that's on a spiritual journey, using these oracle cards and like kind of interpreting the meaning on your own can definitely give you a lot of answers if you have a lot of questions for yourself. One card could mean a lot of things, so I like them. What does reds need to know at this time? What messages do we have for reds at this time? I'm going to pull 5 of these. messages do I have for you at this time? One, two. Messages from 3. 4 and 5. Beautiful. Okay, and I think with tarot I'm going to clarify each of these. Thank you. See, they always know. They always know. I'm just going to move these over here. Okay. So first one we have is light in the dark. And again, this kind of comes back to red, whatever, however you resonate with that, but it's showing up as the light in the darkness for other people. This isn't necessarily you getting light in the dark. I feel like you are the light in the dark for a lot of people. You are that person that, you know, can work with difficult people or difficult energies and find a way to break through and really speak to them, or at least break through and allow spirit to speak through them. Because spirit speaks through you, you're like that direct bridge from spirit to energies that are a little bit more like difficult and harsh. So you might have encountered a lot of difficult people, and even if you didn't know this before now, this is why you've interacted with a lot of difficult energies. This is why a lot of people that you've interacted with maybe haven't been the best moral principle people that you've, you know, experienced or could experience. And for you, but at the same time, what I'm hearing is like, in a way though, you're protected from their energy. It's like, yeah, you have to, you know, temper yourself and work with them and be very flexible and, you know, show up in a kind, compassionate way where it's difficult to. But it's almost like if these are like, you know, think about it, if these are burglars, you know, robbers, and you're working with someone who's been a robber their entire life. They've always been a thief and stole things from people. And people have warned you and people have told you like how this person is, and you know this is how they are, but you're guided to help them, you're guided to work with them. It's almost like you have protection that prevents this person from stealing from you, even though that's what they do. Because you're coming in to work with them and you're being guided to work with them. And so even though you have to work with their energy and you have to, you know, be strategic enough and stay on your toes and, you know, come in this love and light and intuition, it's like even though you have to constantly shift your energy to be able to work with these difficult people, you're protected from them truly harming you in any real sense here. Because you're meant to help them, but it's not karma for you. You know, it's not like you come into their lives and the karma is like now they're shitting on everything that you do. It's like, no, you're guided to work with them and to help them heal on their journey and to be that light in their dark spots, but they can't truly harm you, is what I'm trying to say. You're protected from working with these people and it backfiring on you. Okay? So with that Two of Pentacles, this is you trying to balance yourself. You know how to either like, you know, brighten your light or to dim your light, depending what it is that you need to do to be able to connect with other people's darkness, to be able to make sure that they can see your light within their own darkness here. There's an ability of like heavy energy shifting kind of comes from that duo right there, where it's like you know how to adjust and shift and change and manipulate your own energy to align with these people. Because if you're operating consistently at like this higher vibration all the time, these people are not they're gonna have a really hard time working with you, because it's almost gonna be like, why would I talk to this person? Why would I be around this person? But you know how to shift and adjust your energy enough where you can still operate in this highly spiritual way, where it's not, jeopardizing you by coming down some, but you come down just enough to be able to hold their hand. It's like if you stay in this high vibration, this high energy, you guys can never truly connect. You can't grab their hand and become that light for them. So you know how to shift your energy to come down so that you guys can make that connection and you can grab their hand without you jeopardizing your own light. Okay, so real skill with like shifting your energy there and being able to do that. With the you are enough, I feel like this is more of a reminder for you, because when you're working with difficult energies and you're working with lower energies here, and you're trying to pull them out of where they're at, and you're trying to help them and show them the light and the way, it's really easy for you to never get the recognition. It's really easy for you to get overlooked, for people to not realize, how meaningful it is that you showed up in their life. People don't see the difficulty that you have to endure to be able to work with these challenging energies and to transcend their energy and to help them. It's like that gets overlooked very, very frequently. And so then it kind of weighs on you, and makes you question your own self sometimes. And I think this is Spirit just reminding you that, yeah, you are enough, because you are that light. You are the light. You literally are that light that helps people come out of where they're at. And Spirit sees it. Spirit recognizes it, whether it's God, source, universe, angels, whoever it is for you. It's like they all see it, they all recognize it, and they want you to know that you are more than enough. Even though you're not getting like the recognition and praise here, you're getting it there. And the more that you meditate and connect with Spirit, the more you're going to feel that, because they're going to bring blessings in towards you to remind you that you're enough, to remind you of what you're doing, of how you're doing this. They're going to make sure that if you're really needing praise, they're going to make sure you cross paths with someone that gives you that praise, that reminds you that you're more than enough here, okay? Clarify, you are enough. Because this is literally like Spirit's hand holding you, saying you are enough, you are enough. But I feel like, Reds, this is also the energy that you give people, is when you shine your light on people that deem themselves unworthy of your light, it makes them feel like they are enough. And so this Page of Swords, this is communication. This is, but it's more mental communication. And so again, this is Spirit's messages coming to you, reminding you that you are enough. This is more like communication that comes in through the third eye, or through the crown, through the heart space, and it's reminding you, it's telling you, it's sending messages through the air into your mind, helping you remember that you're more than enough. You are doing everything you're meant to be doing right now, and you're doing it so well. And then I feel like as you receive that, and as you absorb that, it allows you to give that message to others even more, that they are enough. You don't hold the message just for yourself. When you receive that, you also give it out to other people, and you share that message. It's not that I am enough, you are also enough. We are all enough. And you remind people of that, because Spirit reminds you of that, okay? The cosmic flow here is more of your interconnectedness, I feel, with everyone. This is being able to, clarified by the Six of Wands, this is like being able to understand your connection to everyone, not just to Spirit, not just to yourself, but to everyone. So, if everyone is interconnected into this web of Spirit, and we are all one, and oneness is all, and all is one, it's like you really understand this, and this is why you're able to connect to people that are high vibrational, low vibrational, people that are criminal, people that are priests, people that are, just blue collar workers versus white collar workers. It's like, it doesn't matter to you. There's not a judgment there that prevents you from being able to work with anyone. So it's like you're able to recognize almost the Spirit within everyone. You're able to see and recognize the connectedness, how I'm connected to this person, how I'm connected to that person, how I'm connected to all people. And this is what allows them to kind of bring your energy in towards them. It's like it makes them comfortable allowing you to come in towards them, because there's not a place of judgment that you're coming from. It's a place of, you and I are one and the same. Janitor or CEO, it does not matter. We are one and the same. Anything I do doesn't make me better or worse than anything you do. And this is what helps them also see you as that light, as that it's like getting forgiveness that the world would deny them. It's getting truth and clarity about who they truly are that the world would deny them of because of what they've done or who they are or how they show up and how they act. It's like you're truly interconnected with everyone that you need to be and that you choose to be. And this also gives you a vantage point because it gives you a perspective of them. It allows you to approach them understanding them and having a true perspective of who they are. And then we have difficulties here, clarified difficulties. I feel like that is more you kind of facing yourself with being able to do this. It can be difficult to feel, even though you understand and give other people the feeling that we're all connected, we're all one, it's hard for you to feel the same way. It's hard for you to feel like we are all connected. It's hard for you to feel like other people understand you, other people accept you, other people, do the same thing that you do. It's like you do get into moments here where it is really difficult because it's like you're not sure that you fit in with everyone else because you really don't fit in with anyone, but you fit in with everyone at the same time. And that creates a little bit of difficulty for you when it comes to partnerships and relationships and forming bonds and connections and, being completely free and being yourself because you're not sure who would really accept me if they understood me. And I don't think anyone understands me, so no one can accept me. And it's clarified by the Emperor. So this immediately gives me the energy of like, if you think of, in ancient times, kings and queens, where we did have emperors and empresses, it's like they couldn't let anyone truly get close to them. They couldn't share their secrets. They couldn't truly trust anyone. And it's like because you work with so many difficult energies all the time, and that's, a part of who you're meant to be and how you're meant to show up, it's like because you do that, it's kind of like scarred you in a way of not being able to trust anyone, of not being able to be vulnerable because you're constantly in a space where you have to not just pull out other people's vulnerabilities, but also heal them and allow them to be vulnerable and to show up in a vulnerable way. But it's like, but no one does that for you. And so it's difficult for you to allow that to happen when you have that opportunity because you're always in a place of like leading and taking charge and, doing the thing and being the person that you kind of have forgotten how to show up in a different way that allows you to feel vulnerable, that allows you to feel connected, that allows you to feel taken care of. It's like you're always sitting in this emperor energy, and it's not saying that it's like too much control and you're stifled. It's like, no, it's like you've kind of forgotten how to be the person getting help because you're always the person helping. And so it feels lonely. It feels difficult in the sense of loneliness, of not having someone do it for you when you do it for everyone. Feeling outed, feeling misunderstood, or not even misunderstood, but not deeply understood. No one understands who I am or how I show up or anything like this, okay? And then with the be open, it's almost like stemming from this energy. There's a time that's either here or it's coming in for you where you're going to have an opportunity to kind of step out of that emperor mode and be open. But it's choice. Obviously you have to make the choice to step into that energy. Clarify, be open. This feels like we're giving you an opportunity here. You're not going to stop living in your purpose, but we are bringing in I didn't realize they were clarifying it with so many here. We're bringing in an opportunity here where it's like things can change so that you don't feel like so alone. You don't feel like you're the only one that can do everything. Like you don't feel like no one else does what you do for everyone else for you. There's an opportunity here, but you have to be open to it. And being open to it means allowing yourself to come out of that seat, allowing your energy to transition from being the emperor and maybe being the empress, or being just a king or a queen. And it's like that energy comes in. It feels like it's coming in very quickly, and that's what I'm saying. If it's not here, or if it's not here already, it's going to be coming in very soon here, because it feels very close. It feels very present. But it's like this is an opportunity for you to create a balance where it's like you're not feeling like you're always in this energy. Someone else is going to come in that can match that energy, or a situation's going to occur where you're finally getting equal give and take, to support you with doing what you're already doing. It's going to feel like something that you can hold on to as well, because a part of this energy is you work with a lot of people that are meant to come and go out of your life. A lot of these people never truly stay in your life, and it's hard to create like those long-term bonds and connections because of this. And so this is an energy of like, it's something that's going to quickly come in for you, and it's going to stay. Like if you want it to stay, it will stay, and it's going to feel balanced. It's going to feel even. It's going to feel reciprocal. You're going to feel taken care of. You're going to feel like you don't have to do everything all the time for everyone. This is someone coming in for you, doing it for you. This is a job coming in for you, doing it for you. And it's something that can be long term, that you're going to be able to hold on to and really have like stability with here. It's not fleeting. It's not a momentary, energy that comes in to help you and uplift you. It's like, no, this is something that's going to stay here, that you can rely on, that's going to help you kind of get grounded and stable in what you're doing. It's like you're still going to operate in this capacity. You still have your purpose, but it's like your purpose is shifting because you've already done this piece, and now it's shifting in a different way, where now it's time for those energies to be more mutual rather than just you doing everything. Okay, Red, this is the message that I have for you guys. I hope you got something out of that. I hope it resonated. Definitely feel free to like and comment. I do read the comments, so again, I hope you guys got something out of that. Very powerful, interesting message there for whoever that resonated with. I appreciate you. I see you. I recognize you. I understand you. I value you for what you do and how you do it. If you do resonate with this, okay? We're going to go ahead and move into, I think I said orange was next, second. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the orange candle color here. So if you resonated with that color, you're going to get into that one. Otherwise, reds, I'll see you later. So we are starting orange right at 3727. Orange, this is going to be your spread. Let me put these away here and grab orange. Okay, so I'll put that here so we know it's orange. So same way as red, orange, we're going to start off with the shadow energy. This is energy that shows up when we are in our shadow self, or energy that we're maybe unaware of, still needs to be healed, acknowledged, addressed, something like this. So this is from a private seller that actually makes these cards, and they're really helpful cards. They're very beautiful, helpful cards, because they're not judgmental when they come out, but they're very clear about what the shadow self is, or what shadow energy you're carrying at this time. Okay, so we're gonna pull 3 of these. Show me. Oh, I don't know why they're actually showing me 2. So for red we pulled 3. For orange we're gonna pull 2. Okay. Show me, what does orange need to know? Show me orange. Woo. that's the. I didn't take that card out, but that's the main card, the like title card. Show me orange. What does orange need to know? Show me orange. Okay, there's our 2. First one out is uncompromising. Think about being fair and working in harmony with another person. And second one is narrow-minded. You have a limited outlook on perspective and thoughts. What makes you think your thoughts are solid gold? Okay, so this feels like there is a little bit of an arrogant energy here with this shadow side here. So this feels like someone who might be a little bit more stubborn. They feel like they know the right thing to say, the right thing to do. It's very like my way or highway, like I know what's best. And so the shadow side for orange here, and this could be you or someone you know, but that shadow side shows up as a little bit of arrogancy, stubbornness, not the best at getting along and working with other people, because it's almost like when they don't use your idea or they don't listen to what you're saying or telling them, you take on this energy. The way that I'm seeing it in my third eye here is like in group settings, you get very like highly critical of everyone else, and you kind of like withdraw and separate yourself when you feel like they're not listening and my idea was the better one, and no one's doing it. Like you take it very, very personal. It's like a personal attack on you when someone's not listening to what you're saying and they're not like holding that as, the ultimate here, okay? And then we're going to pull 4 of these. These are star seed messages. So this is going to be the counter energy. So if this is the shadow side, we're going to see why there is, like, what that shadow side stems from. And this is more in a, you don't have to be a star seed, but these are more higher perspective messages that help us understand. And I feel like they're showing me 3, not 4. So we're going to pull 3 of these instead of 4 of these. Okay, show me orange. Show me orange here. 2. One more for orange. One more for orange. Okay. So this is no limitations. You are a celestial being with unlimited potential. There is much for you to share. Blue star, follow the light of your inner compass, the blue star. It will lead you to the truth that resides within your soul and intuition. Trust your intuition. It has been guiding you to the answers that you seek. So orange, I can understand why this would be your shadow energy, because in the light energy here, the more higher perspective energy, it's saying that you are actually deeply connected and in tuned. You're probably a very old soul. Extremely intuitive, very insightful, even claircognizant to some degree here. But it's almost like you've already been here, you've already done this. It does feel like with orange energy here, it does feel like at some point we had maybe a reincarnation that was not on Earth, and so we do come from a reincarnation here of a much, much higher understanding of things and how things operate. So that's why we kind of already feel that shadow energy of, I do know it all, and I do understand things, and I know the best way, and I do know how this works, and you should listen to me. It comes from a very defined place within you where you know and feel like you may not recognize that you're connecting to higher energy, like higher self, or like inner terrestrial beings and light being, things like that. But it's like when you know something, you know it, and you know it. It just makes sense, and you don't. I feel like in this energy, you wouldn't really understand. Like your common sense is like other people's critical thinking, and so it's really difficult for you when people aren't listening to you, because it's like you already feel like they're much more behind you intellectually, or even just common sense wise. I keep getting common sense. It's like you feel like you clearly don't know what you're talking about, and I'm telling you exactly what it is, so why aren't you listening? And it's like we kind of get offended when people aren't listening and we're telling them this is what it is, because they're more in a state of like not being sure and kind of being confused and not knowing or understanding, and we're like coming in very clearly, we're coming in very defined, and we're saying this is what it is and this is what you should do, and we already see it and understand how it's going to work out, how it plays out. But it's almost like that is your ability, that is your gift here, is that you have very strong connections to understanding how things work, whether that is through claircognizance or intuition, or whether that is because of a previous reincarnation. It's like however that shows up, maybe it's all of them, but all three of these are pointing to someone who has like hidden knowledge, a higher perspective of understanding, of knowing how things are and how they work and how people work. And it's like I come with this knowledge, I come with this understanding, with this wisdom, with this insight. I came here with that, and it's always been there, but it's frustrating because not everyone listens to it. I feel like the reason that everyone isn't listening to that is because they're telling me like, nope, this is what's going to come out in the other energy. So I'll pause and slow down. So this is going to be why the shadow shows up in this way, because I mean that is your gift. That's what you came in here with. That is a talent, an ability, a skill that you have, an understanding that no one else can match. Is this true knowledge and wisdom and just extreme perspective, very old soul or multiple reincarnation from, higher light beings, angelic realm. Like it's, you have an ingrained understanding of what's what and what's not what. Okay, so it creates tension and frustration because other people have a hard time trusting you when you're like, I'm not coming from research, I'm not coming from the earth, like I am coming from a solid knowing. It is something I know to be true 1,000,000%. There's no doubt in my mind, but they don't feel where you're coming from. Only you feel where you're coming from, so they have a hard time trusting it. So people might look at you as like kind of arrogant, someone who could even be misperceived as like self-centered, a little bit of like overly critical of other people here, something like this. Okay, show me the messages for orange. I'm going to pull 4 of these. Show me the messages for orange. Nope, we're going to pull 3 of these. Sorry, they keep showing me in my mind like how many cards to pull for each one here, so I'm seeing 3. Show me messages for orange. We have 1. Messages for orange. The intuition twice. And 3. And clarity, look at that. Okay. And these ones are called the Journey, and they're really good cards for open perspective here, rather than it being too defined. They come with a book that defines it, but it's nice because the depictions will give you a lot of different downloads and insights and messages when you look at it. Clarify inspiration. Thank you. Okay, so now that the cards are laid, I'll go back into kind of the energy I was already feeling, which this is definitely that energy I was picking up on here. It's almost like you have to remember, in order to not fall into that shadow side, obviously the shadow can never be destroyed, just like the ego, but you have to learn to integrate it in a healthy way so that it's a plus for you rather than a minus. And with this, I feel like when you but when you understand why you have this insight and perspective and knowledge that a lot of other people are lacking, it's not meant to make you feel superior. It's not meant to have you come in and control everything and tell everyone, what to do and how to do it. The first thing that I was even picking up on energetically is it's almost like you're meant to use your higher perspective, knowledge, and understanding, and it is inspiration for other people. So you're not meant to give someone the entire full plan, but when you see that people are stuck on something, or they don't understand, if they're having an issue and they're coming to you looking for advice or venting about something, and they don't understand why it is that way, and they're missing a piece that they're missing, it's not meant for you to create the project, to make the plan, to give them the solutions and the answers to everything, but it is meant for you to communicate in a way that allows them to kind of begin to open up their perspective, open up their mind, to the piece that you know that they're missing. So you're meant to see everything and understand everything in the full spectrum of what it is, because then when you're collaborating or helping or working with other people, you can very clearly see what pieces that they're missing. But that doesn't mean you're supposed to fill those pieces in for them. It allows you to help them and guide them on their journey back to understanding or recognizing the pieces they're missing. Because if you give everyone the answers all the time, there's no learning in that. There's no growth in that. Then they're always stuck coming to you for the answers because they never learned how to do it themselves. So when you're helping people, you're meant to guide them in the direction of what they're missing. And that's why part of the reason you're able to very clearly see and understand what they're missing, so you can help them learn how to get there. You can remind their kind of, journey, where it's at and where it needs to go. Okay, and that's why that Knight of Cups is there, because the Knight of Cups, it's knights are known to be fleeting, not permanent energies that stick around all the time and always, but they do come in and they do indulge, they do, Knight of Cups specifically, it gives you positive emotion, it opens insights, it opens clarity, things like that. So it's like you're meant to guide them towards that thing that they're missing, but not shove them there, not force them there, not throw them there, and definitely not give it to them. That's more of their job. They need to figure out how to get there, but you just can guide them in the right direction there. Okay? If we clarify intuition here, I feel like with your intuition, it's almost like you're guided, I feel like frustratingly, you're guided to people who seem very lost, seem very confused, seem very not self-aware. Like, these are people that it's like, again, it comes in like the common sense thing, like your critical thinking is the same as my common sense. And that's where that intuition feels like it's guiding. But it's like, hey, clarified by the Knight of Swords, clarified by the Tower, with that intuition, it's very much like you're guided towards people that can best suit your purpose, your ability here. So if this is what you're able to do with having this higher perspective, this insight, this knowledge, is to help and like easily see where people are lacking, where they're missing, what they're missing. Yeah, you're going to attract people that need that from you. So I feel like it's a source of frustration for you, but when you learn to listen to your intuition and be guided towards people in conversations and collaborations that you're feeling guided toward, and you're learning how to communicate effectively, like once you learn to communicate to a point where you're not stepping into your shadow energy, because for some of you it's almost like, I keep telling people the right things to do, no one's listening, so I just withhold the information now. I just withhold the knowledge. I don't share it, I don't give insight, I don't give clarity, because they don't use it anyways. And it's like, that's because you keep following into your shadow side here of feeling like you need to listen to me because I know what's best. And that's not what the purpose is meant to be. It's meant to be you see where they need to go, and so you can help guide them to that space, but it's them that needs to go there. And so the better that you learn to kind of communicate with people that need your help, that could really like benefit from you guiding them and showing them and giving them that insight and clarity here, the easier it is for you to open back up and kind of start following that intuition, start allowing people that would need that help back in, or at least, taking the chance to start a conversation with people that you're like, oh man, this is going to be terrible. I don't feel like they even know what's going on, but I feel guided to say something and to help and to, just, lay a little dose of information on them, or give them that little fact, or, lay that little bit of wisdom there, and then walk away. And that's the key, is you got to learn to say it and then walk away. And that's what this is kind of depicting, is like you learn to communicate and say it, and then you gotta walk away. Like, don't stay and see if the tower falls, or if it gets built up, or if they fix it. It's like, no, if you stay, that's when you get into your shadow side, because then you get offended when things don't work out and you told them how to get there and how to fix it and amend it. This is like, say what you gotta say what you feel guided to say, say what your intuition is telling you to say and who your intuition is telling you to say it to, and then you got to walk away. Then you got to, like, you know, don't get invested in the outcome. Just say it and then walk away, okay? And then we have clarity. So let's clarify clarity. Show me clarity. Clarify clarity here. I feel like with clarity, and then it's clarified by the Five of Swords. So it's like the more, because a part of this too is like, if you start to overthink things, if you, it keeps coming back to the shadow side here. If you keep getting flustered and annoyed and arguing with people and getting into these bickers and fights and debates, and it's pointless because no one's going to understand why you're saying what you're saying. They're not going to understand how you know what you know. Like, you could be younger than them, trying to advise them on things that takes people, 50 years to understand, and they're kind of like, how dare you tell me, like, so the more that you get caught up in people's reactions or how they use the information you give them, and the more like that creates mental conflict for you, and it creates, a lot of anxiety with saying anything, or even just frustration when it's not being listened to, the further away from peace and intuition you're going to get. So it's like the less that you have these debates, these arguments, the less that you worry, how will they perceive me, what will they think, or I can't say that because I don't have proof, or I don't, I'm too young, or something like this. The more you get away from that energy of like kind of overthinking everything and then taking it into a mental space, the more clarity you will have, the more peace you will have, the more ability that you're going to create to have confidence in saying something, and then not investing in the outcome of what happens after you say it. It's like, nope, this is where I'm guided, this is who I'm guided to, I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to leave it there, because that's really the extent of how you're meant to show up here, is to give the guidance on where you see someone lacking. So for instance, it's like if you see that, the colors of the rainbow, someone is drawing a rainbow, they're coloring it, and they don't remember, the last color, and they're trying to fill it in, and, people are trying to help them, and they're not believing anyone because it's like, oh, I don't know, that color doesn't look right, and you're seeing this, and it's like, you're kind of being nudged and guided to go say something to them. I wouldn't go up and be like, hey, the last color that you're missing, is violet. It's like, you already know they're going to be combative against this. You already know that they're not going to want to take that advice. They might go into defense mode, because they feel like, some people don't like to feel wrong, and they don't know how to just like allow people to help them. And so it's more like, hey, did you know that the person that invented the rainbow, their name is Roy G. Biv? And it's so crazy because that person's initials, spelled out, are the exact same order of the colors of the rainbow. And then it's like, and then you drop that nugget, and then you walk off and you let them sit with it, and it's like, and they sit with it, and then they're like, oh, Roy G. Biv, oh, V is the last, oh, Violet, I'm missing Violet. It's like, you have to let people think that they're able to come up with the answer on their own without you giving them the answer. You're just meant to kind of guide them in the direction they need to go in to get the answer, because that's where their growth occurs. That's where they're able to kind of figure things out in a much, grand way than you coming in and just telling them this is what it is and this is how it is. Okay? All right, Orange, this is everything that I have for you, so I hope that resonated or helped. Feel free to like or comment, as I do read all the comments. The last color we're going to move into here is pink. So let me pick these up, and then we will go into pink. Okay. So that was a fun message. But I feel, Orange, for you guys, the main thing here is I feel like a lot of you that would resonate with that, with the orange, it's like there's a lot of emphasis here on oranges, like staying out of the shadow side. Like I feel like you're triggered a lot to go into that shadow side, and there's a huge emphasis on staying out of the shadow side, having a different understanding of who you are and how you show up, so that you're not always triggered to go into that shadow side, because then it's like not good for anyone, right? So 58, 54 is going to be pink. So we have our pink here. So pink, this is going to be your reading. We're going to start off with the shadow cards. Only take it if it resonates. If another color stood out for you, feel free to look at those as well. Again, the timestamps are in the description box down below. So we'll start off with the shadow cards. This is a personal seller on Etsy that, you know, I've seen these and I thought it was very, very cool. She's a great artist. Makes a lot of fun tarot cards, but these ones identify the shadow self. So any shadow work that we might need to do, that we might need to address or look at, pay attention to, heal from, things like this, with the understanding that just like the ego, you know, you can't destroy the shadow self, but you can learn how to integrate it in a healthy way here, and that's always the goal. So how many do I need to pull here? I'm feeling three shadow cards here. Show me shadow for pink. What does pink need to know? I don't know. It keeps giving me like 4 and then I get 5. I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so we have these. Oops. They just went everywhere. Oh, 1 second, pink. Scattered everywhere. Make sure that's all of them. Show me for pink. What does pink seem to know? I feel like we have to get, it's going to be 5. It's going to be 5. I don't know why it's going to be 5. That's going to be a lot to link in together. Seems like a lot. Maybe you guys are working on a lot of, oh, it's funny, this card kept coming out. Like, when I dropped the stack of cards, this is the one that was on top, and I was like, if I need it, it'll come out again, and then, yeah, it came out. So, anyways, so for pinks, we have emotionally overreacting. You are overthinking, which is causing a flood of unnecessary emotions. We have boundaries. Develop healthy boundaries to make sure you are emotionally and mentally stable. It's okay to say no. We have obsessive. Write down what you are obsessing over. Realize that it is emotionally draining you. You guys starting to see a pattern here. Arrogant. If you're insecure or fear rejection, this behavior surfaces. Work on accepting your true self and give yourself love as you are needing it. And then we have vengeful. Find a better way to heal your anger. This negative emotion comes back full circle. Okay, pink. Pattern. I think there's a pretty clear pattern here. All of these, especially these first 3, definitely. It's almost like the first 3 are, and then, oh, okay, now I get it, because they kept telling me 3, and then they were like 4, and then they were like 5. Okay, so I get it. These 3 are very centered on your emotions, kind of being extremely unstable here, you know, not realizing how emotionally triggered you can become. It's like a roller coaster of emotions nonstop, and it's for these different reasons, because you're overreacting, because you don't have like a solid sense of boundaries, and so then it like drives you nuts, which creates you to overreact, which creates you to obsess over the interaction and like what to say and how to say, and it's like a lot of emotions going really haywire with emotions, really crazy with our emotions. And then the arrogant comes in, because it's almost like when we're having this kind of roller coaster of emotions and it's going all over the place, it's like, yeah, we can get really arrogant because emotionally we are insecure. We do feel like, you know, I don't want to be rejected, and it's like, I feel like the overthinking creates different scenarios in your mind, which create different reactions based on the scenario that you believe is the most, you know, likely here. So it's almost like if we're in this like highly emotional state here, we either react with, becoming kind of arrogant because we actually have a lot of fears, and so we try to pretend like those fears don't exist, and we show up in a very, like really strong energy here. Or it's going to be vengeful, where it's like, I'm gonna get back at them, or I'm gonna like return the favor, quote unquote favor. So it's like we either are acting very, this feels very like controlling, very upfront, demanding, like hard energy here. And this feels more like sneaky, conniving, like I'm gonna passive aggressive, okay? But it's like it's stemming from this emotional roller coaster, from these like hectic emotions, not having control over our emotions, okay? And then I think we need to get 3 of these. So we're going to not clarify, but we're going to get the counter energy to the shadow side, which is a more higher perspective understanding of what's happening. So these are the Starseed Oracle. So we're going to get 3, I keep seeing 3 of these. I don't know why 4 or 5 is still there. 3. I'm pretty sure we're settling on 3 here. Show me pink. Show me, what does pink need to know? We have 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So with these, so guidance is you are not alone. You are guided by masters and teachers of the highest realms. Choice is by staying conscious in your thoughts. You guide your journey in the direction of choice. And 3 is love. Live your truth and share the love that is in your soul. And so with these pink, I feel like what it's trying to say is, each of these is a little different. So it comes together, but it's almost like you have to be open to allowing people to come in and give you guidance. Because I feel like when you get into this like emotionally spiked state of mind here, it's really difficult for someone to come in and kind of like try to give you a different perspective, or try to help you like understand things in a different way, and kind of like calm you down so that you can see clearly again. It's like when you get really emotional, it's almost like you don't allow, you're triggered by anyone that comes in and doesn't agree with you. It's almost like you, because the way I keep feeling this is like you emotionally react to anyone disagreeing with you, or trying to, like to you it feels like disagreeing. To you it feels like, you don't see my side and you're against me. And it's like you're really triggered by someone who's not coming in, just, getting on your bandwagon and getting, emotionally hyped behind you. It's like, but I feel like you need to open yourself up to people that can come in and give you that guidance. Because I feel like there are people that come in and try to like help you see things in a different way, and understand them in a different way, and give you a different perspective, and, help you tame some of those emotions being all crazy. Because when we get emotional, sometimes we can, create things that don't even exist in our mind. And I feel like the more that you are open to having guidance, to allowing someone to come in and kind of help you understand things in a different way, and guide you through the emotions, the more that you do that, the less you're reactive, the less reactive you become. The more you allow other people to help you, the more you help yourself. And then choice is more, once you're coming from a place that is very balanced, where you're not emotionally triggered, make the choices that align with you. Like, make choices that are good for you. Because a part of this emotional trigger might be that you're making choices that are good for everyone else, and then it triggers you because, then you get the short end of the stick, or you get the shit end of the stick, so to speak. And it's like, you gotta remember that you can't just make choices for everyone else, because that's going to be triggering when they're not doing the same for you, when they're not responding the same way to you, when they're not looking out for you. So this is like saving the person that would throw you under the bus. Well, don't make the choice to save the same person that you know and have learned will throw you under the bus. It's like, don't put yourself under the bus for them, thinking they're going to do the same for you, because they're not. And it triggers you emotionally when people don't do that for you, but it's like, but I did that for you, but you're not going to do it for me. And so it's like, make sure that you're always making choices that are good for you, that don't put you in a state of, being emotionally triggered or feeling unfair, feeling used, feeling taken advantage of, things like this. And then it ends with love here, because it's like you need to operate in a heart space, like stay in a heart space. Even when you get triggered, even when you want to get vengeful, even when you want to react and, do things, it's like always center yourself in love and come back to the love that you have for yourself. And it's like, do you really want to jeopardize and sabotage yourself in order to get vengeful, in order to get back at someone? It's like, no, like, because no one wins in that situation, okay? So let's pull some clarifying cards. I feel like for these, we're going to do 3 more here. Show me the peak. Okay, we've got 1, 2. Oh, that came out fast. And 3. Okay. So, looking at wholeness, and then cosmic flow and future self, and then we'll clarify with the Modern Witch Tarot here. The wholeness is remembering that, no one can take anything from you emotionally. No one can make you feel unwhole except yourself. It's like self-accountability for how you feel and how you show up. No one can affect you in your emotions and how you feel about you. Only you can do that, or give someone else permission to do that and allow someone to do that. So it's not feeling like, oh, this person, they made me feel insecure. It's like, no, the insecurity came from yourself. If someone can make you feel insecure, it's because you are insecure with yourself. Okay, clarify wholeness here. So this is just remembering, like, you don't have to let people affect you and trigger you emotionally. This is a state that you hold for yourself, and no one else has responsibility over that. That's your responsibility to stay whole for yourself. That's your responsibility to protect your wholeness. That's your responsibility to show up in a whole energy. So it's not being codependent. It's not being triggered by other people. It's not allowing people to affect how you feel about you and who you are. It's like, if you know you're whole within yourself, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or feels. And we have 7 of Pentacles clarifying it, because that's more of an energy of like, this feels like if you are waiting for other people to validate and confirm like who you are and how you are, and whether it's like, oh, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're friendly, you're nice, you're this, you're that. It's like the more that you wait on people to confirm and validate that for you before you believe it yourself, you're always going to be waiting. You're always going to be waiting. You're always going to be looking. You're always going to be waiting, because no one can confirm those things for you. Only you can confirm them for yourself. That's coming from a place of wholeness, understanding that I am who I am, and like, I know who I am, and that's what matters. You can't get external understanding of who you are in your wholeness. Only you create that. Okay. And then we have cosmic flow. This is like, again, it all comes back to like emotionally being triggered, because it's like the cosmic flow is allowing people, allowing words, thoughts, ideas to pass you by and not being affected by them. Today everyone calls you beautiful. Tomorrow people give you dirty looks. That does not change anything in your reality about who you are and how you are. That is just allowing the world to operate around you without it allowing it to affect you. Okay, so clarify the cosmic flow here. Clarify cosmic flow. Oof, that was like half the deck there. Okay. These 2 are the ones that came out. So 5 of Swords and Ace of Swords. Yeah, this is like that 5 of Swords is being in a place where you're constantly conflicted and you're being triggered and you're constantly having issues and overthinking things and overanalyzing and arguing and debating and fighting, and it's because you're constantly in a reactive state. You're always trying to win, always trying to prove a point, always trying to show up in a certain way. And the cosmic flow is the Ace of Swords. This is, it only needs and requires one decision, one understanding, one person's clarity, and that's yours. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what other people say. All that matters is, what do you think? What do you say about yourself? How do you think about yourself? What are the thoughts that you tell yourself? How do you show up for you? So this is the cosmic flow, is like understanding, yeah, there's always going to be conflict. There's always going to be negativity. There's always going to be that, that energy that is out there and it's around you, but you have to let that energy move past you and not let it destabilize you, not let it affect you and tear you down and break you down. It's like you're stronger when you come from this sense of wholeness within yourself, when you are very clear about yourself. Then you don't need to try to take anything from anyone else to like build yourself off of yourself, and that's it. Okay, if you do it off of other people's thoughts, opinions, ideas, what they're saying, you're never going to be whole, you're never going to be complete, because everyone has a different opinion, everyone has a different thought, everyone has a different feeling. And then we have future self. Clarify future self. And this is, I feel like it's more this is like, think of, if we're all always growing and learning and developing, yes. But if you stop and think today, where was I 5 years ago? Where was I 10 years ago? Where was I 20 years ago? However long you need to go back there. Where was I at that point? And then when you see how much emotionally you have overcome and grown and developed, think about those things. What would I say to myself back then if I knew what I knew right now? And when you take on that attitude, when you take on that thought, it makes you more conscious of, how do I align with what my future self wants to be when I look at where I'm at today, right now. And it makes you more confident in that. It makes you realize, like, no, I am growing, I am developing, but you have to focus on who you want to be and how do you want to keep developing, how do you want to keep growing. So the more that you reflect and see how much more emotionally mature and developed you've become, the things that you've overcome, the bad habits, the triggers that you have stopped, like look at the positive things that you've overcome emotionally here. That's going to help guide you forward, because it's going to give you more confidence in your ability to maintain, your ability to move forward, your ability to grow and develop and move out of that energy and not always be triggered, not always, be codependent, not always, want to be obsessive, not always be emotionally all over the place. It's like at some point you were worse than what you were at right now, and you figured out how to grow out of that. You figured out how to move out of that energy into a healthier energy. So if you focus on that, then yeah, you can absolutely become the person that you want to become. You can change those habits. You can stop those triggers. You can move forward in a healthy way and encompass your emotions in the way that you want to. Don't leave it up to other people to judge and define who you are emotionally. You get to judge that. You get to define that, not everyone else. Okay, pinks, that is the message for you guys. That's everything. If that resonated, if you liked it, let me know. You can always like and leave comments. I do read them. So if you feel up to it, again, the timestamps are in the comments. So if you want to look at the other colors, red or orange, feel free to do so as well. Otherwise, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks.